As the government's smart city plan rolls forward, the centre today released the much-awaited list of 98 smart city nominees. Uttar Pradesh has managed to bag the maximum of 13 nominations. Tamil Nadu finished second at 12 and Maharashtra got the third position with 10 cities being selected. But this is just the beginning of what may turn out to be a tough inter-city competition. Shweta Kothari has the details.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's ambitious smart city project is finally to take shape. The central government today released the list of 98 smart city candidates which have been shortlisted after the first selection round. Uttar Pradesh has highest number of nominations with 13 cities making the cut, including Kanpur, Allahabad and Varanasi. Tamil Nadu comes a close second with 12 cities which includes Chennai, Coimbatore and Madurai. Greater Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Pune and Nagpur have made it to the list from Maharashtra, and Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar and Baroda are among the cities chosen from Gujarat. With the Prime Minister laying special emphasis on development of northeastern states, Guwahati, Kohima, Imphal, Aizawl, Shillong and Agartala have also successfully bagged a position on the coveted list.
Aspirants have been chosen through an intra-state competition. Each state and union territory has evaluated all the urban local bodies in their respective states and union territories based on the existing service levels, financial, institutional capabilities, fast track record, reforms carried so far, and nominated the top scorers.
While most states have found representation on the list, 9 prominent cities including Delhi, Patna, Bangalore, Kolkata, Thiruvananthapuram and Shimla lost out in the City Challenge competition.
In one sense, the inclusion goes to prove that selection in the first stage of competition was not swayed by the status or importance of cities, and the selection was objective as per the stipulated criteria.
In the second stage of the Smart City competition, which kicks off now, the government will release 2 crore rupees each for 98 Smart City nominees, so they can draw up a Smart City plan. These plans will be evaluated by the centre and the top 20 ranking cities will be funded by the government in the current financial year. The central government has pledged a total funding of 48,000 crore rupees over the course of next 5 years. A special purpose vehicle will then be used to implement smart city plans in states and union territories. So while the smart city plan has finally kicked off, there is no indication as to when India will see its first smart city. In New Delhi, Shweta Kothari.
Joining us now to discuss the government smart city roadmap are Arindam Guha, Senior Director, Deloitte India, and Devendra Kumar Pant, Chief Economist, India Ratings and Research. Gentlemen, appreciate you joining us. Let me start by asking you, Arindam, about what you made of the shortlist, the 98 cities that have made it to the first shortlist. The inclusions are perhaps okay, but as far as the exclusions are concerned, Bangalore doesn't make the cut, Delhi doesn't make the cut, Patna doesn't make the cut. Are you surprised by that?
Well, I think the selection has been made based on criteria which were announced earlier. There were 13 criteria in all, and as the Honorable Minister explained, it had criteria like percentage of revenue generated from internal sources, whether the annual accounts of the city were updated on time, and there were various other criteria which were all objective in nature. So I guess, the selection of cities, since it was based on these criteria, it was quite expected, especially all the more so because the list of recommendations came from the states themselves.
Okay, so let's go to Devendra now. What are you likely to expect as far as the smart city plan that now these cities are going to put forward? What would you like to see? Because one would imagine that the kind of funding that the government has put forward is clearly seed funding. It's not going to be enough for these cities to be able to sustain their smart city plans. So both in terms of sustainable revenue generation, governance models, changing the sort of urban governance model, what is it that you would like to see being incorporated in the plans that are going to be put forward?
Well, to make this project successful, what we have to see is a sustained program or a credible program whereby the SPVs will be floated, how they will be able to raise money and fund the infrastructure. Mainly when we are talking about roughly around 13 crore of the population in these 98 cities, and we have a very poor performance whenever the question of user charges are concerned. So how the user charges will be levied. So give you an example, as these cities put together will require daily requirement of something around 17,000 million liters of water. Now the piped water supply to these households and the user charges which covers the cost of provision of these services. Unless these measures are not taken, the user charges are not levied, then the quality of the urban services which will be offered are going to suffer. Now, if we are not able to provide, make smart city a livable city, so when we talk about livable city, each household should be provided per capita at least 135 liters of water. 80% of that is converted into sewerage, whether we have the sewage treatment plant so that the sewage is treated, whether we have the roads. Say for example, if we take a very conservative estimate of 400 grams of municipal solid waste is generated, then these cities will generate something around 20 million tons of solid waste. Now, how those solid waste is treated. So these are some issues which each city has to provide the answer to these, and I believe the part 2 of this selection process will deal about these issues.
Okay, Arindam, if I could just come to you. You know, smart cities around the world have a CEO. Do you think we're going to follow that model in India? And the second part, and this is where India Ratings also comes in, SEBI has allowed municipalities to actually issue bonds which can be listed on the stock exchanges. Do you think that is something that is also going to happen in the country? Is it going to be successful? Because firms like yours will come in and actually have to rate all of those bonds.
Right. No, I think, on the first issue of whether there will be a CEO, I think the smart city scheme itself says that there will be a special purpose vehicle which will, take on board all the financing available, and it will be responsible for designing and implementing the smart city projects, number one. And it will also be tasked with operating the various projects which are implemented, and even collecting revenues. Now, in terms of actual implementation on the ground, I think I see a challenge there, because in our constitutional framework, a number of functions have been by the constitution itself, they have been delegated to the lowest tier of government, which are the urban local bodies themselves. Now, when we have a separate SPV operating or delivering some of these functions, there could be conflicts which will need to be resolved through a proper governance mechanism. Now, coming to the point on rating of urban local bodies, I think various states have gone for different options. There are at least 4 or 5 states which have set up urban infrastructure development corporations, which are essentially vehicles for pooling of finances. They are supposed to collect finances or mobilize resources from various sources, and these resources can then be used across urban local bodies for financing different projects. So I guess there will be various innovative mechanisms which will be there, because as Devendra was explaining, if you look at ratings of ULB themselves, there would be a handful of urban local bodies which would really be able to muster ratings which can help them mobilize external resources.
Devendra, you want to come in on that point and add to it?
Yeah, see, under JNNURM, the program which run till FY12, the 65 of the municipal corporations or the urban local bodies were rated. Few of them were got a really good credit rating. When we are saying good credit rating, they were in the AA category. The whole idea behind JNNURM was like these municipalities will go and hit the bond market and raise money from the bond market to finance their infrastructure projects. But unfortunately, none of them has hit the bond market. Coming to the pooled finance, which was referred, see, as of now, only the two states it is functioning. Tamil Nadu has been doing it from 2002. Karnataka has been doing it. So basically, what happens is whenever a ULB, and why they are not able to hit the bond market, because there are number of disclosures, the accounts has to be maintained, the audited account has to be done quickly. Every quarter, the reporting has to be the stock exchange if those bonds are listed and traded. Unless these issues are resolved, and in some ULBs under JNNURM, they were able to do some reforms in this direction. But look, there is NDMC area in Delhi, which is one of the selected city for the smart city. Sure. You know, I know, we know what kind of problem and issues citizen face. Selection is one thing, but really implementation is the key. How they will be able to raise finances, how they will be able to improve governance. And main issue is if they are able to raise finances, whether the charges or user charges which are levied for these services, whether they will be sufficient to pay that for debt servicing.
Absolutely.
If the debt servicing is not done timely, then there's the issue.
Absolutely, and that is what it is going to come down to, of course, execution, as well as how do you make these cities sustainable from a revenue generation point of view. But Arindam and Devendra Pant, we'll have to leave it there. Appreciate you joining us here on India Business Hour with your thoughts on the government's Smart City initiative. Up next.